Magic word. Two magic words.
The beat on. What's going on, folks? I'm your host, Class. This is my co-host,
Mr. J. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, well, another exciting episode we get to bring to you guys today. This one's going to be interesting because this time, I'm defending someone I would never thought in a million years I'd be defending in a challenge, which happens to be Superman. People that know me know I'm not a Superman fan. I will go and put anyone against that mother, just anyone. And I will still say that they will beat Superman, no matter who it is, because I'm
as long
so
as you say Superman, he's against it.
Yeah, like strong-heartedly, but the reason for my reason is because I think he's too much. Why have a superhero that literally can have every ability? It's like the most pointless. On from that, he gets to go one-on-one, mano-a-mano, toe-to-toe with the mighty Thor,
Mr. Odinson himself.
Yeah, so this is actually gonna be fun, bro. Which my boy is gonna be representing today. Now he won the coin toss.
I did.
He gets to decide how we're gonna do this.
I have gone with our first option, which will be to have them isolated with their abilities.
All right. So we got superpowers. So who do you want to go first?
I actually think I'll go first this time. I'm gonna try it out. Like I said, I picked the isolated incident because I feel one of Superman's greatest things about him is that he can regenerate basically just using solar power. He can just use the sun. So if you keep him isolated away from direct sunlight especially, and he takes way too much damage, he can be hurt and he can definitely be killed. That's actually how Doomsday killed him, or put him in a coma, whatever you want to call it. But if you keep him isolated away from sunlight, direct sunlight, especially with someone who can match his strength like Doomsday, or I believe Thor could, he really could turn the fight into his favor.
He is a very, very strong superhero. Like, this guy has got X-ray vision. He's got hearing abilities. He can blow wind like a tornado or something. He literally can throw ice. He throws heat ray visions. I mean, the guy has speed. The guy has strength. The guy has literally every. Superman is also got one thing against Thor: intelligence. Sadly, Thor does have the hand-to-hand combat in his favor.
Thor is extremely experienced and intelligent. He just doesn't use it because he has that superiority complex. He always has to prove he's better or stronger. And he always, he is arrogant and he does rush into things head first. And he doesn't really form a plan or think.
That's the thing,
but most of the time, that's because he just doesn't need to. Because he's just that strong that he powers through.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you go against a man who is not like an ordinary man, who is from Krypton, he's not somebody you really have done your research on, and you're going toe-to-toe with this guy, you got to remember, Superman's going to have more of a level-headed intellectual perspective than Thor will. Thor's going head in first, but Superman's going to learn his opponent. He's not just going to throw in a couple punches and think, I can take him. Superman's always tried to maintain that humbleness, even though he's a godlike being. It's crazy to believe it or not, but believe it, Superman is a farm boy. He could have, at any point in time, ruled the world.
No, I know the whole, the background and all that, but, what you do have to remember, there is times that it has been shown, Superman, too, is arrogant because he knows he's stronger. There's never been most of the people in the DC universe haven't been able to match his strength, except for Darkseid or other people like that it took the entire DC universe to take on.
Right.
But other than that, no one's matched his strength. So he does have that, I'm stronger.
Yeah, but don't also forget, he also knows that he's gone against intellectual people before. Remember Lex Luthor? He could have thought to himself that, he's an ordinary being. I could just break him and that's it, call it a day. But Lex Luthor gave him a run for his money, regardless. Now, he's gone against one of the most superior people out there. Now, if he could go against a guy smarter than him, in some essence, then he can go against a guy who's a lot less smarter than him. And the reason that being is because Thor is, yes, he's got the whole hand-to-hand combat. But Superman has all these incredible abilities, which means the intellect comes to his favor. Thor can throw down, but Superman can think a way out of a situation with that. Because with Thor, he's going in, and he also has this warrior aggression where it does work sometimes in his favor. But Superman, let's not forget, speed and strength.
Warrior madness.
Yeah,
so what that does
has a good and has a bad.
He slightly loses control of his mind, but it increases his abilities and his power tenfold. Which Thor is already freakishly strong on his own naturally, but he also wears this magic belt which doubles his strength. So you have to take all these things into consideration. And a lot of people have said Thor is actually the strongest Avenger. And then there's also people who have said that Thor is just as strong as Superman. He just doesn't show it. Right. Superman has shown his strength. Thor hasn't. So you have to take that into consideration and just think, if they are just as strong as one another, then you have to think Thor would be a match for him.
He would be a match, but only in some essence. For example, the ground. The ground, he would have he'd have a pretty good shot. The sky, different. The reason why I say that is because Thor relies on one thing, his hammer. That's the thing that keeps him flying. That's the thing that floats. He's not flying just naturally on his own. He needs the hammer.
He is based on the hammer first.
Yeah, and also that, there's also the fact that Thor has slipped and lost grip of his hammer before. If you remember that one, I forget, he looks like a moose or something. But in the comics, he loses. Bill? Yeah, there you go. Bill. He was a guy that got the hammer out of his hand, manages to use it against him. Now, Superman, don't forget, Superman seems worthy. He's not the type of villain. He's not a bad guy. He's actually a worthy person. So could he grab the hammer? Yes, he could.
Possibly.
Could he? There's a possibility. And could he use the abilities in the hammer? Of course. The hammer comes with lightning. It does have the ability to use thunder. So
this is true.
Use it against Thor in his own way. Thor is strong, but imagine going against a man that is strong on his own and has his own weapon.
That's if Superman can take his hammer from him. You have to remember, Thor doesn't just have Mjolnir. He has Stormbreaker, and he has an axe. I cannot pronounce the name of the axe. I'm just going to say he has an axe. Yeah. It's very powerful. It's very strong. Not as strong as Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, but it's still pretty strong. It's
but that's only he's going to have it there with him during that battle. If it's only going to be Mjolnir, it's just going to be that one particular weapon. He's not going to have a chance against Superman, bro. So if he's just going toe-to-toe with, it's just Superman with his superpowers, he's got the Mjolnir hammer, nothing else in his possession. All it takes is Superman shooting a little bit of heat ray vision into that hand, make him lose grip of it because it's too hot for him to handle, drop the hammer, Superman quickly rush right into it, grab the hammer, have the ability that he can because he is worthy. Let's be real. Superman is a worthy guy to hold.
No, I agree with you that he's real, but I don't think it'll be that simple of just shoot his hand real quick and then he lets it go. Like Thor's way too strong for something like that to happen.
But if he was calling Mjolnir, it'd be a different story, though. Let's say he dropped the hammer at a moment, and Thor is calling Mjolnir at that moment to be like, telling him to come, or telling him. But Superman realizes, oh, wait a minute. I see what you're doing there. You need to call your weapon so you can get it. Okay, so at that particular moment, all it would take for Superman to do is focus that laser beam into that hand. Because Thor still has to call it. He can't just go, and it doesn't just show up because he thinks it. He has to literally reach his hand out to extend it in order for his hammer to come back to him. That way he can grab it, be able to use it again. That would be the moment where Superman would take advantage. Now, Thor does have durability. That's a given. Mm-hmm. But Superman, again, has a lot of other superpowers. He has the cold ability, which means if he wanted to, he could just throw little frostbite in his legs, keep Thor busy with the hammer having to break through all of that. Another thing is the heat ray vision. Another thing is all the other things between all that. And here's the one more thing I'll add, though. As
the problem with the heat vision in your argument there is the heat vision depletes his strength more than any of his other abilities, and you're keeping him in an isolated area with no sunlight, which means he's not that battery's not being charged, bro. So he's constantly using his abilities, which I think Thor can push him to do, would be to constantly push him to use abilities, deplete himself, and then eventually, he'll be able to take enough damage and he'll put him down. I think a good solid shot from that hammer when there's no sunlight around, I don't know if Superman really stands a chance against that. I just don't.
Yeah, if it wasn't like, I agree. If this was a situation where the isolation does weaken Superman's abilities, I would see that. But Superman doesn't just easily weaken that quickly. It would take a large amount of a fight for him to get to that point, especially with the superpower, for him to get to that point where it's like, all right, I can't take anymore. I just can't. Like, Superman still got it. Even though Thor might have the upper hand with durability in that, Superman still has the ability to, again, use all the powers he can. And as one more last hurrah, if you really wanted to get Thor off of his knees, off him down, there's this ability, it's called Solar Flame. Or Solar Flare, sorry.
Yeah.
And Solar Flare is apparently something that he used to gather during the time collecting energy from the sun. Now, in any given situation,
it releases all the solar energy stored in his body.
Yeah, so if he wanted to, let's say this was one of those moments where he's got to put the big man down. Real down. Can Thor survive a solar flare blast?
I do believe he can.
I think that it would take a big toll on the man to take such a blast like that, because we're talking about taking a hit from the sun practically.
Thor's been dipped in the sun.
Brush that off or whatever, but it's taking one hell of an impact. Thor might be a god, but remember, he is not the ultimate god. Okay, that would be his.
He does heal and regenerate, though.
But that's only if he's able to recover, and I don't know how long it's going to take Thor to recover from that. It's a solar blast. It's not exactly, especially in one isolated area, it's not exactly like it's going to take him a minute to be like, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm straight. You took a solar blast, it's like taking an explosion inside a big ass fucking tank, and then managing to survive it without a couple bruises and beats.
Do I think he's going to shrug it off? No. Do I think he'll be okay from it? Yes. He'll either try to block it with his hammer or, use some type of ability, but I don't think he'll just be able to shrug it off. No. I mean, I do think he'll be able to use it and survive, though. Being that he does regenerate, he does heal without the hammer, and then if he calls the hammer back to him, the hammer has regenerative abilities to where that heals him, and that puts him back to like a normal state.
Okay.
And at that point, he'll be fine. Superman won't. Superman will be very weak for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. So what the argument we're making here on one side is my boy is saying that if he were to keep him on a during situation, have him fight for a long period of time, Thor would have his number. And I would agree to that, to be honest, because Superman does need the sun. But if Superman were to start using his abilities right away, and not too much, where he's using his speed, he's using his ice ability, his laser ability, all that stuff that he can throw on a superhero, and Thor were to drop that hammer, the hammer would be the loss. Because right then and there, even though Thor is strong, the hammer was his number one thing to rely on when it came to throwing down with someone without being harmed by that individual. But now that, let's say, Thor has his hammer go against him, the thunder would be very hard for him to handle, along with Superman attached to him. That's my argument. So that's both our perspectives, but it's not up to us. It's up to you guys. Who do you guys think would win this crazy fight?
Please let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, leave a share, like, or subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Catch you guys later. Peace.